and brawl, ground and pound. Get ready for an MMA showdown. Now, the ultimate Octagon Insider, Sean and Tristan Ducross.
What's up, everybody? We're the Ducross Brothers Sports Warriors. I'm Tristan Ducross. On my side, as always, is my brother, Sean Ducross. We are the Ducross Brothers. Cross the line with us every Wednesday right here on Sportscaster. In the meantime, as you saw the graphic that came up before the show, Sean and I want to send our condolences to the Laurinaitis family, Road Warrior Animal, the last of the Legion of Doom, the last of LOD.
The last of the Road Warriors.
Right. Has passed away at the age of 60. I got to say, before we start our show, is that we grew up wrestling fans, right? We grew up following the Legion of Doom was perhaps one of our favorite tag teams of all time. Can we agree on that?
Absolutely.
And as weird as this may seem, Sean, I thought for sure that over the years, the Steiner brothers would have been like the first team that would kind of dismantle and, go first. But unfortunately, Hawk went first, and now Road Warrior Animal. And it came to me as a total shock because I just heard him on his son's podcast, Sean, on Bishop and Laurinaitis. He just celebrated his wedding anniversary. And to see all of a sudden this thing come right across the ticker, and I was in total shock. My first response was, no, this can't be. So my condolences go out to the Laurinaitis family, and everybody that follow professional wrestling should know who Road Warrior Animal is. Sad day in sports entertainment or in wrestling in general or sports in general, because we also lost Gale Sayers today as well at 77. So 2020 has been a horrible year.
Yeah.
I'm so over 2020. I really am. We need to just 2020. I think we should cut 2020 and just say that 2020 will never, ever exist in any kind of history books at this point. Forget it. Not going to happen. It's been a weird year. Absolutely. But speaking about being a weird year, the Charlo Brothers in boxing probably has the biggest fight that anybody has been looking for is the Charlo Brothers. But Sean, the Charlo Brothers are on pay-per-view. They're going to be a double hitter on pay-per-view, and the pay-per-view is $79. Are you going to follow that?
So you talk about the Charlo Brothers, and you talk about this is one of the biggest pay-per-views that everybody's been waiting for. Unfortunately, to me, it's not. When you look at the Charlo Brothers, yeah, they're mainstay. They've got a lot of attention on them right now, even prior to the pandemic. However, when you talk about them, there's a lot of issues with them, either fundamentally or not. These two have never been on pay-per-view. Never once have they been on pay-per-view. Now you're putting them on Showtime pay-per-view in the midst of a pandemic when they've never, ever been on pay-per-view. Yeah, that's smart business. You better hope that the pay-per-view buys are less than what you are predicting. Because if you're predicting some astronomical number, you're not going to get it.
100% agree with that.
You're not going to get it. I don't even think this is going to break at 1 million buys.
The issue that I have with this is that you're putting all your chips in, you're putting all your eggs in one basket,
yes.
Okay? Because the Charlo Brothers like you said, never been on pay-per-view. Yes, they bring fight fans. Absolutely, right? They bring this aggression nature to the boxing ring, so it gets people to invest themselves in watching the Charlo twins fight.
Yeah.
But at this point, right, you have no fans. You're fighting in an empty arena. You're expecting to sell this pay-per-view at $79 a piece. I thought when I saw this possibility of these two putting on a pay-per-view and it being a huge fight card, because what? There's like 6 fights on the card. You got 3 on one, 3 on another. You got one going first and the other one going next.
Yep.
So you're going to have 6 fights in a long night. But when you're looking at these kids and you're looking at the bottom dollar, I thought, bring eyes to this fight.
Yes.
The price point to me at $79 does not tell me that this is a good buy. I said maybe around $40, $45. Okay, then you're talking my price point, right?
Yeah. I get that there is right now not necessarily, what do I want to say? I lost my thought for a second. But how can this be a good thought? Granted that it's basically two cards for $80. So essentially you're splitting it 40 and 40. So I guess that kind of makes sense if you look at it that way. If you split it, you'd pay for one Charlo pay-per-view at 40.
You pay another
40.
one at 40. True.
So the number doesn't really scare me off when you've got 2 cards on one night. It's just who the cards are.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You should have put it on free TV. Sometimes I don't understand the logic behind either boxing, wrestling, mixed martial arts.
On what determines it a pay-per-view card versus a free TV fight or such.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me.
If you're talking about that, Sean, then I go back and I think about the Lomachenko fight versus Teofimo Lopez is going to be on free TV.
And the Charlo Brothers are on pay-per-view.
If you're looking at the bottom dollar and who could sell, I'm looking at the Teofimo Lopez versus Lomachenko fight, and I think that could be a pay-per-view fight. I don't see the Charlo Brothers as that yet. Their legacy, yes, they've won 30-plus fights, okay? 63 total fight wins between the two of them. But if you look at the body of work, which I always try to get people to just look at for a second, stop looking at the number of how many wins. Stop looking at the number of how many knockouts somebody has. Look at the body of work that these fighters put in and the quality of fights that they have, right? So when I look at that, I look at the Charlo Brothers and they really haven't beaten anybody in their course of their career. So their legacy tells me that, yes, they could drive fans to a live venue. But can they drive fans to buying an $80 pay-per-view? I don't see it.
No, and then you look at it. So you got Jermell Charlo and Jamal Charlo. So you look at the two. Jermell is the main event. He's the brother that lost to Tony Harrison and then ultimately won and knocked out Tony Harrison. And he's the one that's main eventing. Versus a guy, Rosario, who quite frankly is the lesser of the two named opponents that the brothers are fighting. Because the other guy, Jamal, is fighting a guy, bear with me, Derjavanin-Choke? No, I just butchered that.
Dervenicheko. Like Lomachenko, Dervenicheko.
So he's facing him who fought Triple G. And this is Jamal that's facing him.
Yes.
He fought Triple G. He automatically slides into a guy that has more namesake than what Rosario has. But yet it is Jermell who's headlining the card. You would think that Jamal would be the one that's headlining the card because of the guy who he's fighting.
Is probably the toughest opponent that he has faced.
Correct.
being able to last in the ring with Triple G, or being in the ring and being able to last a fight against Daniel Jacobs, tells you that this guy's a better fighter than Rosario.
Yes, absolutely.
When I think of the Charlo twins and what they're capable of doing, the ceiling is high for them.
It is when you look at where they're at, but they've been protected.
Exactly.
They've been protected. And Jamal is the better of the two brothers. So again, the better brother allegedly is co-main eventing the card. And the better technique of the two. But the bad thing though, is that we could see both brothers probably lose.
It's possible.
Because you're looking at Rosario, who's the IBF and WBA junior middleweight champion.
Again, when I look at champions, regardless of how many boxing championships are out there, at some point you have to earn those titles, right?
Absolutely.
And so even though Rosario,
you're a champion for a reason, right?
And when you look at Rosario, there is no question that he could go in there and fight. There's no question about that. But when you look at the standard and the possibility of him going in there and beating the Charlo, it's kind of nil. And I say that because I don't believe that in this fight realm, right? Yeah. One of two things can happen. Is Rosario goes in there and proves that he is a champion for a reason. But that's only if the Charlo Brothers, because the Charlo Brothers feed off that energy of
each
crowd.
Other. Yeah.
And they feed off of each other.
So
if the crowd,
Tristan, what's going to be the outcome that if Jamal comes out and does not win his bout,
like the Klitschko's,
what is Jermel's thought process going to be going into his fight?
We've seen it time and time again when brothers are cornering brothers.
Yeah,
and
is he going to be reckless?
Correct.
Because you're already
it's like a mindset.
You're already looking at Tristan. You're already looking at Jermel Charlo is by far more of the aggressor of the two. So Rosario and him are going to engage at some point, most likely in that bout. So when are you going to get reckless if, in fact, Jamal, your brother, loses prior to you? What is going to be the outcome? There's so many variables.
Because regardless of where you are at, Sean, two things always happen, right? As brothers, we know this for a fact because we've played sports our whole entire life.
Yeah.
Is that it didn't matter where we were on the football field, on the baseball field, it didn't matter. That wherever we were, we tried to be the better one out of each other at that given time.
Absolutely.
So when you're looking at these two brothers and you are talking about a corner and you're seeing one brother maybe get hurt or maybe start losing, right? Your immediate reaction is going to be, come on, dude, step it up. You're going to try to encourage the one brother. But if one brother loses, trust me, that mind switch for the next one to go out there, he will need to have to settle himself down. Because I can guarantee you that mindset will be like, nope, I'm not letting that guy beat me.
Yeah, and our guys over at Fightbook basically agreed with what you were saying, is that brothers should not corner each other, especially if they're fighting on the same card. I completely agree. I also will take it one step further. The brothers should not be able to watch each other at all.
No.
There should be a guideline and a restriction set forward that you cannot watch.
Because
just
I'm telling
to try
you right
to keep
there,
your psyche going and being focused on your own fight.
This is coming from a brother perspective, okay? Especially from twins. We are identical twins. Our mindset is completely different from anybody's. Even if you're a brother, it is vastly different. The thought process, the understanding, it's so different from anything else. So we're giving you an insight of what the thought process is from one brother to another. And in a fight game, in a combat sports realm, this is a very tough mindset to be in. And to be 100% clear of mind and focus, I can guarantee you he will not be if his brother loses. I guarantee it. Which ultimately could pose a end-all, be-all for the Charlo twins, and that on the biggest night of their careers, they could go 0-2. Sean?
Yeah, and it's just going to be one of those nights that it could set the world on fire, having both of them win. And it could also turn it completely upside down. And if you're the brothers, you got a lot riding on this moment to be essentially the first set of fighters to be on pay-per-view in quite some time during this pandemic.
Absolutely. And again, this is something different that nobody's talking about. There's not this narrative that anybody's talking about the Charlo twins, about that brother aspect of it. They're thinking about the legacy and the possibility of them going out there and winning and headlining their pay-per-view and doing what they need to do and having amazing pay-per-view buys.
Yeah.
But they're not talking about this. They're not talking about what the mindset is from twins or brothers. They're not talking about that. But only here with the Ducross brothers, you get a different perspective on certain subjects in combat sports that you probably won't get anywhere else but here with the Ducross brothers. Just the way we do things. It's something different that you won't get anywhere else but here. But Sean, yes or no, do the Charlo brothers lose?
One loses.
One loses, one wins.
I got my money on the better of the brothers. I got my money on Jamal.
Okay.
I got Jamal Charlo. And unfortunately, I'm bold prediction, Sean is back for this one. Rosario's going to knock out the other one, Jermel. I'd say probably about the 6th round. It's going to go down.
I hope both brothers win. I hope both brothers win.
If not, you're going to end up talking about why were they on the same card? Why were they able to corner each other?
And then you can come right back to this show on Sportscaster or find it on YouTube after this, and you can play it back here that the Ducross brothers were talking about this situation and you can figure out why one or both of them lost. I can guarantee you right here. Pay-per-view buys, Sean. 100? 100,000? Or you think less?
Ooh, I don't think it's going to... I'd hope it's not 100,000 or less. I would hope maybe like 300,000, 400,000. At least it won't look too bad. But they're definitely not going to hit 1 million, and I hope to God they don't do less than 100,000. If they do less than 100,000, we'll never see the Charlo brothers ever on pay-per-view again. Granted, we are in the pandemic era, so I don't know. It could go either way. Apples and oranges.
How many people are, though, going to watch this pay-per-view? Like, if you talk to our fans right now that are in the chat room, or you talk to the people on Twitter, if you're following us, go at the Ducross Bros on Twitter.
I posted a poll on Twitter. Will you guys buy this fight?
So go vote. Let us know. Hit the donate button. Show your love for the Ducross brothers. It's going to be an interesting night, though, right?
Yeah.
Good, bad, or indifferent. It's going to be an interesting night for boxing because it will show you the very landscape of where boxing is right now during the pandemic.
Absolutely.
More with the Ducross brothers coming up after this. We got UFC 253 preview, wrestling news, and I just want to give a shout out real quick. I got to give a shout out to AEW tonight. I have to.
AEW,
they are the first wrestling Twitter. Right. They're literally breaking Twitter right now. They are the first wrestling promotion to have trending on Twitter. AEW Dynamite, AEW on TNT, Chris Jericho, Miro, Eddie Kingston, and Cody. 6 trending topics.
And then Moxley's now trending.
Okay. Moxley's now trending on Twitter. 7 of the top trending topics is pro wrestling, folks. 7. What happened? But more with the Ducross brothers. We're going to take a quick break, come back out. We got a whole bunch more stuff coming for you guys. Shout out to our sponsor, I Love Anti. For all your CBD needs, go to iloveanti.com. Use promo code DucrossBros and save yourself 10%. go to our Facebook page.com, facebook.com/The Ducross Bros, and get a break on your subscription on ESPN Plus. Get the pin link at the top. In the meantime, sit tight, go grab a beer, go grab something to drink. And we're going to come back with some more Combat Sports Talks right after this.
We are the Ducross Brothers. We're live every Wednesday on Sportscaster at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure that you check us out. We are a live combat sports talk show. We talk about mixed martial arts. We talk about boxing. We talk about wrestling. You name it. If it's a headline, we're going to grab it. We're going to put our take on it. If you want something different, we're your boys. Check us out. Give us a follow. We'll give you a shout out.
All right, everybody, we are back. We are the Ducross Brothers Sports Warriors. I'm Tristan Ducross. Along my side, as always, my brother, Sean Ducross. As our tagline says right here, cross the line every Wednesday with us at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right here on Sportscaster. Or you can find us right after the show. You can find us on YouTube. Just search The Sports Warriors or YouTube.com/The Sports Warriors, and you get our page. Subscribe to us and follow us. In the meantime, right down here on this ticker, you can see where you can find us, Twitter and YouTube, right down here. UFC 253 is right around the corner, and we are going back to Fight Island. And it's going to be headlined by the Style Bender, by Asanya versus Costa. And I look at both these fighters. You want to talk about a clash of styles? You couldn't get two other fighters that are polar opposite. And when you're looking at this for the middleweight championship, Adesanya, probably the most skilled fluid fighter. His lightness on his feet, his angles, his striking, probably nobody is better than him right now in the division. You look at Costa, and he looks like an ox. Big, puffed up middleweight, brute strength, looks like a bull. This could go one of two ways. Costa could get inside, use his strength, and make it a nightmare fight for Adesanya. If Adesanya is, in order to win this, use his technique, stay on the outside, use his striking. Don't try to get into a war with Costa, because it ain't going to end well. Because if you're going to get into a slugfest with Costa and you're going to try to win a brawl, forget it. You are in for a rude awakening, because this ain't going to end well. I like Adesanya, but I'm telling you right now, Sean, if this gets into a brawl, this gets into a legit backroom brawl fight, there is no way Adesanya is leaving that cage with that title, and we will see #and new.
And somebody's, the old tired line, somebody's O's got to go. So, it's like, I like Adesanya, but I think his cockiness is going to get in the way. You say Costa, our guys at Fightbook says Costa. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Costa. And then we're going to see a rematch in the near future.
You get inside that 8-inch reach of Adesanya.
Yes.
You work the fight to the ground. This is where he will be uncomfortable. And you, my friend, always say, dare to make the other person uncomfortable.
But ain't nobody going to take anybody down. Neither one of these two guys are that style of a fighter.
No, but I'm just saying is that you could.
But it's
make
not,
him uncomfortable.
But it's not going to happen. What's going to happen is one of two scenarios. Costa is known as being basically a bull in a nutshell.
Yep.
He going to come in fast, furious, hot and heavy, hammer flying, and it's going to be up to Adesanya to avoid those power shots and take this into deep waters. That's the only way Adesanya
Side to
wins
side,
this one.
striking, use the 8 reach for Adesanya. But
If he wants to beat Costa, he has to be what John Jones is.
yes,
John Jones, when he gets in there with a bruiser or a guy who has physically more
Quick,
power, strength,
be first.
he sticks it outside. He uses his reach, keeps the distance, makes the fight slow down and control the pace. If he could weather the storm initially from Costa, all he has to do is get it past the second round. Costa's gas tank is going to empty, and it's going to empty quick. So before Costa's tank empties, Costa's going to need to try to finish this fight in a blink of an eye.
Costa will have to get Adesanya going backwards towards the cage. Close off that distance. Get this fight over with. Because he carries a lot of mass on him. And by carrying a lot of mass, Sean, you're going to suffer the consequences because your oxygen isn't going to be where you need it to be.
Your gas tank
Yep.
is
so
the biggest thing you have in fighting.
going deep waters will cost Costa.
Oh, no doubt. This
But
fight
the
may
thing
not
is,
even go the distance. All they have to do is get into the third round.
I was just going
and
to
the
say,
fight will switch to Adesanya, and then Adesanya is going to have a chance to finish the fight.
but see, I'm a little bit different on that. I think the third round is a tale that will tell of two sides. And why I say that is because gas tank of Costa will be called into question.
Yeah.
But how much of the bowl of Costa did he perform in the first 2 rounds? Because Adesanya going into the third round, he's a high volume guy. If he slows down, just tiring just enough, might give that window, that opening that Costa might need in that third round to end that fight in the third round and not proceed into the deeper championship rounds.
And nobody really knows. Look, it was asked in the chat room, doesn't Costa have good cardio?
No.
Not from what I've seen, not from what I know of, and also the fact, too, this guy has only gone to the third round 1 time.
Correct.
And he's never been in the 5th round ever. 1 time into the 3rd round, and then has never been in a 5-round fight.
And anybody that knows going 5 rounds,
The only time he went...
that tank has to be on almost a quarter of a tank by the time you get into the championship rounds. Or else you're sucking wind the whole entire time.
Yeah.
You're going to be blown up and you're going to be trying to catch your breath.
And you know, the only time he went to the 3rd round was against Yoel Romero. Similar body type,
body mass. So you're going to get the
full aggression coming at you. So of course that fight went to the 3rd round because they're both sucking wind. So it's going to be an interesting fight, that's for sure. But I've got Costa winning this one. Hopefully, you've got Costa.
I do.
The guys in the chat room have Costa. So it's going to be interesting to see how that fight plays out. It's going to be an interesting card.
I feel bad because like everybody, the hype is real behind the style bender.
I just want to see what the style bender is going to do for his entrance.
He's probably going to dance.
Yes, and that's what I want to see. I want to see what style dance he comes out to.
And then you get to the co-main event.
Jan Blachowicz versus Dominic Reyes. I was torn on this one.
So I initially was torn on this as well. Because I thought Dominic Reyes won the fight against John Jones. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay. So I thought 100% when I saw this fight, and I was like immediately thinking like, this is Dominic Reyes' time. But the more, again, we are the people that will sit in front of a videotape and literally dissect a fighter.
Yeah. Even though we've been wrong lately, it seems like.
It is what it is, but
we've been on a bad trend lately.
That's only because we dare to be different. We don't stand on the same side as everybody. We give you a vast variety and we give you a different opinion on why we think somebody should win. And Sean, and let's be real. If they actually stay to the game plan that we tell them to stay to the game plan,
it goes according to plan.
Yeah, literally goes according to plan. And then you're watching a fight, you're going, what are you doing?
Why didn't you stick to the game plan?
Why are you fighting like that?
Why did you deviate?
And we'll get to Tyrone Woodley. Prime example. Prime example.
Jesus Christ.
Exactly. Your reaction is my reaction. But we'll talk about that just in a second, Sean. We'll get to that.
Jesus Lord.
But Dominic Reyes is in a bad spot because Jean is a powerhouse. Power in both hands.
What did they say? Polish power?
There you go.
Polish power.
He has crazy power. Crazy power. I don't like this fight for Dominic Reyes because I don't think that he wants to stand and trade with him with the power. But when I look at these guys, they want it to be exciting. They want it to be the fight of the year, right? Or the fight of the night. I just think that the power will be too much for Dominic Reyes to overcome.
So, guys over at Fightbook have Dominic Reyes winning this fight.
Sorry.
You have Jan winning this fight. I'm torn still because I agree. I think that Dominic Reyes is the uncrowned light heavyweight champion.
There's no question. But that uncrowned champion will be dethroned by Blachowicz. It's going to happen. I am sorry.
The thing that's uncomfortable about this fight is that Blachowicz is a more well-rounded fighter.
Yes.
Than Dominic Reyes, or at least in my
Dominic
book.
Reyes, great stand-up, great guy that could trade with the best of him.
He can make the fight. Reyes can make the fight grimy.
Yep.
He can grapple.
But if Blachowicz gets this fight to the ground,
he can submit him.
Yep.
He can knock him out.
Thank you. Proving my point of why I went with him.
And that's kind of why I lean on the side of Blachowicz winning this fight, because he's not going to be afraid to engage in Dominic's realm. Also, Dominic is going to look for the opportunity to stay on the outside. Like, he tried to outstrike John Jones. And that's where the discrepancy came from.
Yes.
Between him and John Jones, is that they felt as if he didn't do enough to outstrike John Jones.
Because if you look at the stats say that he won. But again, folks, it's about the body of work and what you do. You could throw a high max output volume, right, in the first round, and those stats are now skewed.
Absolutely. And then you're trying to rebound from it.
So stats don't always tell you a full picture.
So we're divided. So we're 2 versus 1 right now.
So if you put your bias aside, take the names out of it, go for what they are, record-wise, style-wise. Who do you go with?
Blachowicz. I like Reyes. I think he has a bright future.
I just think this is a bad matchup.
I just think he's running into a buzzsaw right now. So I've got Costa and I got Blachowicz in the main event.
Same way.
Also, can't forget about me getting called out on Twitter today.
Oh yeah. So folks, if you follow us on Twitter at the Ducross Bros, it was an interesting morning because my brother decided to go on Twitter, and we're not huge social media guys. You know us through the word of mouth. I guess we could try to post a little bit more, but Sean goes on Twitter and poses a question and tags Diego Sanchez, and Diego Sanchez clapped back on Sean. Sean asked it a question about, what was it?
So Diego Sanchez in his interview leading up to this weekend's fight said that he has 4 fights left on his contract, and he plans to finish out all 4 fights. And so I just simply tweeted back and said, "So what happens if you lose this weekend?" And he writes back and says, "Well, that's a dumb question. I win at UFC 53. at 253. I was like, huh, who knew? I got a response from Diego Sanchez. Like, I've tweeted at the guy before. I've never got anything back. And
Sean poses a question.
And he claps back at me. It's like, all right, I see you, Diego Sanchez. I'll be watching you this weekend, Diego.
And then guess what, Diego? Your boys will be sure to tag you again. But Diego Sanchez, his corner is one
crazy guy, too. So one crazy enlists in another crazy and brings in Stefan Bonner to corner him.
Yes.
Really? Stefan Bonner to corner Diego Sanchez. I guess when your yoga instructor doesn't benefit you, you tend to go and get somebody that may do the same and may help you in a direction that may get you back over the hump, but you're facing a young buck who's ready to stake his name and make his claim.
Diego Sanchez, as much as, man, from the day we started in combat sports, Diego Sanchez has always been a name. Has it not been in the combat sports world? Everybody knows who Diego Sanchez is in the combat sports world. He wants a Legends tour, essentially. He wants his end fight to be Conor McGregor. I looked at you and saw that headline and immediately thought, oh, he wants Conor McGregor to put him down like Old Yeller. Because there would be no way that Diego Sanchez beats Conor McGregor.
I guess go out on your shield. Go out the same way you came in and go out the same way. I get it. So to call out Conor McGregor, I mean, it's a payday, but there's absolutely no way he fights the Diaz brothers. There's no way he fights Conor McGregor. There's no way. He's not even on that top 10. He's not even in the top 10.
Unless you can sell yourself.
If Donald Cerrone could barely get a Conor McGregor fight, what makes you think that he's going to get a Conor McGregor fight?
Speaking about Donald Cerrone, his fight that went to the draw, how the heck do you celebrate that win? Or that tie, that draw?
You don't. You do the post-fight interview the same way that you're so demoralized and your head is down and ashamed of the fact that you do a draw.
There's no way you should celebrate a draw. You did not win, you did not lose. You guys both basically did the same. Nico Price had every opportunity to win that fight and did nothing to win that fight. Donald Cerrone did more to win that fight. How that ended in a draw is beyond me.
And I agree with that fight book. Nico was just happy his idol didn't get the loss. Yeah, you heard it in his post-fight press conference. And then he was in tears. He was in tears and he was happy. And then Donald Cerrone offered him an opportunity to train at the BMF ranch. Like, so then you go back and you watch that fight and it's like, yeah, you both did enough to say, hi guys, I'm just here to engage just enough.
I'm not here to really hurt anybody.
I don't want to really put Donald Cerrone in retirement.
But you should have.
But he kind of did because Donald Cerrone said that he's going back to his ranch and not sure when the next time you'll see him. So, not sure what that says.
So, also on this fight card, Sean, you had Kobe Covington and you also had Tyrone Woodley.
How can you, if you're Tyrone Woodley, how can you
get him?
Have lost every single round in your last 3 fights, bro, and still think you're at the top of the food chain? How can you be 0-15 in all your rounds that you fought in the last 3 fights? Bro, if you're going to sit on a stool and look so dejected from your fight, why don't you just tell the corner to throw in the towel? Like, where is the aggression? Where is the the cojones of wanting to win, because there's nothing about Tyron Woodley that emphasized
that he's a winner,
that he wanted to win the fight.
When
Colby
you were Sean,
was out there doing work,
when you were sitting on the stool
and he looked like this.
and you looked like this. Bro, you ain't in this fight game. We always say, being around this fight game for as long as we have, seeing fighters, talking to fighters, being cage side, when you see a fighter that comes back from a round, sits on the stool, and looks defeated, looks as if he is done on the stool, your job is at some point is to look at him and say, dude, we're done. You're done. You ain't in this. You ain't about this fight life. Because when a cornerman asks Tyron Woodley, do you want to win? And he has his head down and he says, yes. If you can't look at your coach in the eyes and say, yes, I can win, man, I don't buy it. I watched that fight
and acknowledge your cornerman.
Right. As this fight kept going, every single time I saw him get back to the stool, I saw that air just continues to leave out of him, that he no longer wanted to be in that fight. Something mentally was not clicking. And I tell people every single time, as a fighter, if you're not 100% all in, you're 100% all out. I told you earlier that I spoke to a fighter that I just came across on Instagram, that he announced that this will probably be his last highlight of his last fight. And I was blown away because I thought he was a top fighter, amateur. A top amateur fighter that could do wonders in the fight game. But he's a very God-fearing man, very spiritual man. He went through injuries after injuries. I had no idea. But he said he could no longer put 100% in, so he was 100% out. So that's why God had another plan for him. Sometimes, unfortunately, some fighters, their mindset will tell them that it is time. Tyron Woodley says that he's not going to announce his retirement because he still believes he has something left in the tank.
How? When you've lost
after you saw
15 rounds.
You saw the fight against Gilbert Burns, right?
Yes, you've lost 15 rounds. You haven't won 1 round in 3 fights.
Something is not right. Something is not clicking.
How can you say you still want to fight?
Go back and watch the fight.
Cerrone still rolls out of bed and throws his hands.
And I like the fact that Colby Covington thought that he just killed Tyron Woodley.
Well, he started to kill Tyron Woodley in the last round.
Because Tyron Woodley was no longer there.
Yeah, so he took advantage. You're talking about Old Yeller. Basically, that was Tyron Woodley.
But the way that fight ended with like a crack rib or something, and him yelling out in pain, there wasn't a whole lot of damage that Colby Covington was doing to Tyron Woodley on that. Tyron Woodley
popped his rib.
Was having that choke in from the bottom, and just a freak accident ended the fight. Like, it was nothing to go. I was smashing that. No, you were not. No, you were not. Stop. But this is what Colby Covington evidently needed. Again,
he's still relevant. He's
puffs him up.
He's next in line for his fight again.
Calls out Kamaru Usman. Calls out Jorge Masvidal.
And then gets into it with Usman where it's cringeworthy. But you know what? On that note, we're going to go ahead and take a break. Come right back with some wrestling chatter. Because WWE Monday Night Raw, they reveal who the Retribution is.
Oh, that's going to be a good one. More with the Cross Brothers Sports Warriors right after this break. Come back out strong and finish up the show. Sit tight.
are the Ducross Brothers here Wednesday nights, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Give us a follow. Stay up to date with our shows when we're going to be on what's next. We are a live combat sports talk show. We talk about wrestling. We talk about MMA. We talk about boxing. If you're looking for a different alternative sports talk show, we are your cup of tea. We will rip headlines, throw them into the show, give you our unique take and spin on it, just to be different.
Sean and Tristan Ducross here with you guys live right here on Sportscaster. You can find us after the show on youtube.com/The Sports Warriors. Cross the line with us every Wednesday with some combat sports talk from everything from Muay Thai, boxing, MMA, professional wrestling. We got you covered with some exciting topics. In the wrestling world, professional wrestling from Impact to AEW, to WWE, to MLW, you name it. Wrestling is in the forefront. Whether you like it or not, professional wrestling is now back at the top of everybody's tongue, and let alone on social media, where, like we said earlier, AEW has 7 of the top trending topics right now on Twitter. 7. WWE has kind of hit a bump in the road. And I say that because Raw isn't what it used to be, and it used to be a staple of professional wrestling fans. Used to look forward to every Monday to turn on that TV and you're going to watch Raw. I have a love-hate relationship with Raw. I still watch professional wrestling religiously every single week.
And you know, after
Monday,
watching
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, wrestling all day, every day.
when you talk about Monday Night Raw and you talk about that being a staple, you talk about that and you talk about wrestling. And I've had more of a love-hate relationship with wrestling than you have.
No, you have not. You just flat out stopped watching wrestling when WCW went gone.
And that's why I have a love-hate relationship with it. And my love-hate relationship is growing far and far more than what it has before. I came back to wrestling when AEW came back because it reminded me a little bit of WCW, and it gave me an alternative to Monday Night Raw. Do I watch AEW? When something's on it that intrigues me. Other than that, I don't watch it anymore. Monday Night Raw annoys the crap out of me, and I'll get to that in a second. Impact Wrestling has a little bit more of my attention right now because I like what they're doing with Eric Young. I like what they're doing with EC3. The Good Brothers, they've got a lot of intriguing little storylines going on. The one I can deal without is Rob Van Dam. He looks awkward. Looks like he just needs to move on. But my love-hate relationship comes for stupidity. I can't stand when you look at AEW and they've got all this acrobatic stuff. Yeah, some of it's cool. Some of it is. Some of it isn't. Some of it's everybody's cup of tea. Some of it isn't. But for me, I have a hard time watching it because I watch for who's the it guy. And when you have a guy like MJF who can hold his own on the mic and you're looking for that next Ric Flair, that next evolution, he's the guy. He's the guy that you want to give the ball to. But wait, you still give it to Mox. That annoys me. We get to the scenario tonight. You look at a guy like Cody Rhodes who got beat up by the Dark Order. Okay? Got beat up, got put out by the Dark Order. Comes back with black hair, black gear, black everything.
Black on black, blacked out.
And the issue I have with that is that he comes in and he beats up 2 or 3 guys from the Dark Order, but yet a month ago, he couldn't beat up 3 guys. He got jumped by him and got put out with the help of Brody Lee. So magically he talks about how he can't He can't fight off the Dark Order. He needs help. Throws up the 4, like scratches his face a couple times. And then tonight he shows up and he lays the waste. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Then you look at Monday Night Raw. What doesn't make sense are 2 scenarios. The first one I'll get into is the Retribution BS. Okay? You talk about Retribution and then you show them destroying all of the WWE stuff, the Performance Center, this, that, and the
Tagging, graffiti, you name it.
Everybody started pinpointing about who it was.
And I kept telling you.
So you look at it, you look at the members.
I didn't even have to look at the dirt sheets and I could tell you.
Mia Yim.
Yep.
Dio Madden. Mercedes. And then who was the other guy?
Dio Madden.
No, who was the other guy?
Oh,
I said
Thorne.
Dio Madden. No. Okay. Thorne, and who's the other guy?
You have Thorne and Dijakovic.
There you go. Because I tried to say his name 5 times the other day. I butchered it all the time.
Sorry.
So you have that guy.
Yes.
Who had hair. Now he looks like a Bane cross-off with freaking some type of red paint going through his thing, looking like a guy from
Mad Max.
Yeah. Like, what in God's green earth are you doing? Mia Yim. You know it's Mia Yim. She's the
Blue hair.
She's the only one with blue hair. And she's over there trying to talk, and she's adjusting her mask. Like, really? That's what we're doing with? Dio Madden sticks out like a sore thumb. He's the guy that got put through a table.
By Brock Lesnar.
So,
and somehow we're supposed to forget that he was the announcer on Monday Night Raw.
Right.
But yet he still has the hair.
Thorne, I could give it to you because he looks like a paper plate, like CM Punk said. It looked like a paper plate on his face. Then you look at Mercedes.
Well, he's called Slapjack.
I'll get to that in a second.
The freaking names, are you kidding me?
So you know who these guys are. But Mia Yim cuts a promo and states that, oh, now you put us underneath contract. What do you think the fans are? Stupid?
You are under contract.
You are NXT superstars who got moved up to Raw to create retribution for revenge. But what revenge are you seeking? Who are you seeking it for? Because none of you guys need to be having revenge against anybody because you've all had opportunities down in NXT.
Unless they're claiming that WWE Raw has been holding them back from moving up, and that's their retribution, is to lay waste to WWE Raw.
How?
I'm just saying. Just saying.
How? Makes no sense.
No, but if you're going to, you have your five guys, right? The 3 guys and the 2 women.
I'm just thankful that they haven't named the women yet. So you've got T-Bar,
Mace,
and Slapjack.
I swear to God.
He looked like Slapjack against freaking Bobby Lashley.
You know it's bad when you name somebody Slapjack, and the mistake that announcer announces is you call him Slapdick. Go back if you tape Raw, Sean. They called him Slapdick by accident.
Jesus Christ.
I had to rewind it back a few times because I almost wanted to see. Hold on. Let me see if I still have it here. Do I still have this soundbite? Yes. So it doesn't exactly prestate this. I would talk about my hearing, but more like this.
I'm going to have to put on my fucking double seeing glasses because I can't even begin to see the amount of bullshit coming from you.
100%.
Here's something else, okay? So out of everybody that's in this group right now, T-Bar, Mace, Slapjack. We haven't heard the 2 names of the girls yet. T-Bar.
I don't want to.
T-Bar at T-Bar Retribution on Twitter. Jesus Christ.
You can't even take it serious, bro.
Tweeted out 14 hours ago what T-Bar stands for. Terrorize, brutalize, annihilation, and retribution. Bro, you guys got annihilated by the Hurt Business. And then the whole damn locker room came out and blasted y'all. So where was the terrorize? Where was the brutalize? Where was the annihilation? Because you guys got beat up badly. So you guys destroyed everything to get destroyed. And then CM Punk talks about Slapjack, like I just told you, about his mask looking like a paper plate, which T-Bar said to CM Punk, you mock my brother Slapjack because you are a coward, like every current and former WWE superstar. You tease leading Retribution, but we will not follow you to failure like your new Nexus. We will destroy this place piece by piece, including you, if you ever do show up. Then posted a photo, says, because CM Punk posted a photo, says, this is what you look like when you're bored in catering, and there's an abundance of paper plates. That's about Slapjack.
They couldn't even get a legit hockey mask like Eric Young has. They got a poor man's La Parka mask. That's what they got. And then on top of that, you want to talk about stupidity? Rey Mysterio's family has been
Hold on.
Wait, what do you got now?
Mace tweets.
You can't even read what Mace writes half the time.
He wrote it. He did a scripted little tweet that says, agitated screams of maggots. You cannot kill me in a way that matters. That era has passed. Nothing that belongs to
So basically, he said that Brock Lesnar tried to kill him, and Brock Lesnar couldn't. Thus, he rises back. That makes sense. So now he just said Brock Lesnar is weak. Okay. The Beast Incarnate is weak. Got it. Good job, Dio Madden.
And then, yes, you want to talk about the other ridiculous storyline on Raw? Monday Night Messiah comes out and cuts a promo to the Mysterio family.
Oh, my God. We're just going to regurgitate.
No. It gets worse. It gets worse. Okay? So we are in an era of what is the hashtag? Save our children, right? And we're in this era of how dare you, like the pedophile rings and all that other weird shit going on, right?
And WWE.
So the WWE is going to do a storyline that's already, you can kind of get the vibe.
Figure it out.
Is that when Buddy Murphy was on the outside of the cage like 2 weeks ago.
Aaliyah, who is the daughter of Rey Mysterio,
checks on Murphy, and you're like, ooh, that kind of looked weird. But you kind of just shrugged it off and said it is what it is. So then on Monday Night Raw, Rollins comes out with a paper, like a vanilla-looking folder, and says, are you sure that's your daughter? Because she looks nothing like a Mysterio. Oh, geez.
Same storyline that they did with Dominic and Eddie Guerrero.
No. Because if you continue to watch it, it gets weirder. It got way weird. Aaliyah's in the backstage.
Yes.
Murphy comes up and apologizes to her. Gets a little bit weird. Then Aaliyah is seen in the back with the family. And then she calls out her dad, Ray, for everything that has gone on.
Being called a naive young girl.
No, a naive 19-year-old
girl.
So they emphasized her age of being 19. But yet they're teasing something with Murphy,
who is 10 years older than Aaliyah.
A 19-year-old and Buddy Murphy in like his mid-20s.
Yes, so there's like a two-tell storyline. Is Aaliyah the actual daughter of Rey Mysterio? We played that part with Dominic and Eddie Guerrero. Now we're trying to do the exact same thing between Aaliyah and Rey Mysterio. But now we're going to add a little bit more of a weird twist by putting her into a love story with Murphy.
I hope that they don't go that route.
Jesus.
I hope to God they abort that shit. Sorry for my language tonight.
How does Rey Mysterio allow this to happen, bro? Explain that to me. I don't get it.
Yeah, so Buddy Murphy's 32.
See?
32 and Aaliyah's 19, and you're teasing a love angle.
Not about that.
32-19. You tell me how comfortable you are watching that scenario with the day and age we are in.
Horrible. Horrible.
This was the one time I was like, and you wonder why I don't watch wrestling. You wonder why I have a hard time watching wrestling is because when you try to make the fans look stupid or try to do storylines that make no sense or trying to do the fact that how in the heck does this make sense in this world?
You would think that people writing this stuff would make it more like a soap opera.
Right? But now with a 19-year-old and a 32-year-old.
Yep. But we are the new Cross Brothers Sports Warriors. That's all we have for you tonight. Hope you guys.
2 topics I wanted to get to. But I guess
we'll save it and
We'll bring
rotate
it
it
back.
over to the next show.
I guess so.
But more with the new Cross Brothers next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard
Great
Time.
shout out though. British Pats fan, thank you tonight.
Thank you for it.
Thank you everybody else that joined the chat room tonight. We'll be back next Wednesday. So stay tuned.
We're the new Cross Brothers Sports Warriors. Follow us on social media.
Give
Twitter,
us a follow.
at the new Cross
So
Bros.
So you know when our next stream's going live.
Right. In the meantime, enjoy.
Tip us.
Yep. Donate.
Let's get it on! Sprawl and brawl, ground and pound. Get ready for an MMA showdown. Now, the ultimate Octagon Insider, Sean and Tristan Ducross.